Okay, so I wanted to just kind of jump in and show you exactly how to set up your Airbnb account. So if you're curious about how much money you can make on Airbnb, or really anything from if you have a spare room and you're just trying to maybe make enough to cover your rent or your mortgage for the month, or if you're just trying to actually grow an Airbnb business, this is how you set up a property on Airbnb. Now, here where we're at the hosting platform. So, not like you're staying as a guest. There's two different kind of sites you want to use. If you're staying as a guest, that's through the guest platform. If you want to go to Airbnb and set up your property as a host, meaning you have a property or room that other guests will be staying at and paying you to use your space, then this is the website you want to go to. I put it in the description of this video down below, so you can click that link if you want to be taken over to the host side of things. So right here, let's go ahead and just talk about the first page. This tells you basically how much you can earn. Now, right here, if you can see my cursor, my mouse, I have it set up in Santa Monica just for the purposes of this video. So you can type in any location you want to go in. Let's just keep it in Santa Monica for now. Now you can present kind of your type of space. Is it the entire place? Is it just a private room? You can kind of determine what you have going on there. And then your bedrooms, how many bedrooms? Let's say we have a 3-bedroom property. So then go ahead and update the estimate. Now, of course, if you have more bedrooms and you have kind of a bigger place available, that's going to be able to maximize your profits. You're going to be able to make a lot more money. As you can tell, for a 7-night stay, I just kind of estimated based on the general consensus of the other properties in the area, how much money you could earn through Airbnb for a 7-night stay. So let's go ahead and just go with that in Santa Monica. Then we'll go over here to the top right, and it says Airbnb setup. We're going to click that. And here we go. It already has me logged in, so we're going to hit create a new listing. We're first going to have to tell them about our place. We're going to have to list a couple things to make it stand out. And then we're going to finish up and publish. Now, I probably won't be going through every single detail here, but I'm just going to show you kind of the basics for the purposes of this video. And you can go in and for your property, you can enter your own description, you can put in your own photos, etc. So right off the bat, it's going to have us tell Airbnb a little bit about the place. So we'll go ahead and hit next. Is it a house, apartment, a barn? You kind of have all these different options to choose from. Remember, when people stay with Airbnb, they can actually filter their results based on what type of property they want to stay at. A lot of people that are traveling, they might want to pick a unique property. It's kind of funny that they have cave in here. I don't know what some of these things are. That's pretty interesting. But so, if you have a tiny house, like one of my properties is a tiny house, so I would have listed it as a tiny house. All kinds of stuff. So let's just go with your standard. Let's say it's a house. We'll hit next. And now, is this property an entire place? Meaning when the guest stays, they have the entire place to themselves. You're not present. You have another, property that you stay at. Or is it a private room, meaning that the host or yourself is going to be at the property and this person has a private room, whether they have a private access or maybe they share a kitchen, things like that. But they'll know that, based on if it's a private room, they'll know that it's that you or the host is actually going to be there. And then a shared room, of course, think of something like a hostel or something where they're sharing a room with other guests. They're not sharing a room with you, the host. It's just sharing it with other guests. So let's select entire place. Again, you'll be selecting these options based on where you're at. Let's go with Santa Monica Boulevard. Again, I'm just kind of keeping it consistent. Santa Monica Boulevard, okay. Boom, 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 boom. I think it's I'd be having us select an actual address. I think. Oh, I think it's one is the zip code. Ooh, okay, let's find out. It wouldn't let me hit next, so let's do 90291. Oops, wrong page. Okay, so it just needed the zip code. So then you can scroll down here. Now you can choose, you can click this box on or off. This is your preference. Show your specific location. So you can make it clear to your guests where your place is located. They'll only share your specific address, like the street address, once that guest has actually made a reservation and confirmed their reservation. So you don't need to worry about people who are just browsing on Airbnb having your exact location. But you can have it, show it to them once they've confirmed their reservation. So we'll keep that on. Go ahead and hit next. Okay, is the pin in the right spot? It's just asking you to verify. We'll say yes. Some basics about your place. So this is where you're going to go down and select all the different options of your property or your private room. So how many guests do you allow? This is basically determined by how many beds you have, right? So let's say you have 2 beds in this 3-bedroom property. So you're going to sleep 4 guests. Now also remember, if you have like a pull-out sofa or pull-out couch, oftentimes the way to maximize your profits is to allow as many people as possible to sleep in one space. So let's say you have a 3-bedroom house. Each bedroom has its own bed. And then maybe in the living room, you have a pull-out sofa that can also sleep 2 people. So that would be a way to easily have a property be able to sleep 8 guests. Bedrooms, again, let's say it's a 3-bedroom property. Let's say it has 2 beds, bathrooms, 1 bathroom, sure. Make your place stand out. So what are the different qualities of your property that people are going to want to actually stay at your place? So go down through here and just select different stuff that yours has. Lots of people want to stay at a place with a pool or a hot tub. Do you have safety items, smoke alarm, first aid kit? All that stuff is super important, but you want to take your time when you're going through these things because as a guest, their experience really does come first. And if you have everything filled out where they know exactly where they're going to be staying, they know kind of the safety precautions that you've taken in place, then that's going to be somewhere where they feel comfortable staying. So let's go ahead and find, I don't know if I have any photos of my property actually in here. Let's see, desktop. I might. Okay. So let's put this property, it says at least 5 photos. So let's add more. We'll add a couple. Okay. And then you want to put, remember when you're going through this, you want to put pictures of the inside and of the outside of the property, just so people know what they're getting themselves into. You also want to put current pictures. I know a lot of times you might be renovating your property, or maybe you've changed the paint colors, whatever it might be. Make sure your photos are current. That way your guest knows kind of what they're getting into. Now let's give your house a title. Okay, this is super important because the title is going to make your property stand out. So when you're titling your property, and we can get into this in later videos as well and go more in depth, but when you're titling a property, remember to put any sort of basically big reason as to why people are going to be staying there. So for me personally, I live really close to a big stadium down the street, and that's why a lot of people come to visit. So I would put next to stadium. Oops. Next to stadiums. You can use emojis. We'll talk about that in a different video. You can put emojis in your title. Airbnb kind of has a policy where they say not to do it. So if they kind of slap you on the wrist, they might have you remove those emojis. But I will say that it does help your property stand out above the rest. So if you want to try it, you're more than welcome to use an emoji. And if they say, don't do that, then you just can't use emojis. So we'll say next to stadiums. Now you do want to fill up the whole kind of context here. So we'll say next to stadiums. We don't want to keep our title short. We want to use as much space as possible. We'll say tiny house. Tiny house. Modern. Minimal. Spacious. Spacious for a tiny house, etc. But put as many kind of keywords that you think people are going to be looking into. Maybe you want to put 15 minutes from downtown, right? Put something like that so people know when they're clicking on your listing exactly kind of what that's going to entail. If they're traveling to the stadiums and your title actually has next to stadiums, that's going to be a big attention grabber for them. Okay, so it looks like I put too many words. Modern. Oh, wow, I put a lot of words. Okay, so, or I put way too many words. Yeah, I guess make sure when you're, um, make sure when you're putting your title, they may have changed that. I feel like my title is a lot longer than that. But let's say, make sure you're not going over the word count. All right, so describe your property. So is it unique? Yep. Peaceful. Again, pick whatever applies to you, but take your time on this. Now, your description. This is something where, again, it's the first thing people see when they look at your property, right? So they're going to see the title, they're going to see the photos, and then they're going to see the description. So this is where you're really curating what type of experience someone's going to have in your place. So again, you can put 15 minutes from downtown. You can put some of the attractions that it's close to. Maybe you're close to a zoo or nightlife or bars, restaurants. Let's say you're by the beach, if you are in Santa Monica, or anywhere else that's coastal, put next to the beach or beach access. We'll go into this in another video as well because there's literally so much to cover in the description, but it's going to be a lot longer than this. You have 500 words, and I would recommend really using that 500 word kind of limit. So after this, you're basically finishing up and publishing. So we're going to set our nightly price. How much do you want to charge per night, right? So again, you're going to have to do some market research, and I'll show you how to do that in other videos. But when you do your market research, remember that there's a big difference on nightly price versus, between if you have just a shared space or a shared room versus an entire unit. So this property that we kind of played with here was like a 3-bedroom entire unit place. So we can charge a lot more for this property. But you're also going to have to do some market research about the other properties available in the area. So I'll show you exactly how to do that again using a program or software I like to use that basically gives you all the data from your area. So it shows you exactly, how much other people are charging for properties that are similar in size or similar in how many bedrooms. So you can really stay competitive with the market. You know exactly what everyone else is charging, and you know how much you're going to charge as well. So try to, keep this number relatively reasonable for you. You don't want to go too low, but you want to stay competitive with the market as well and still make sure you're able to actually make that income. So sure, let's go with 303 a night. It says, already gives you some details here. It says places like yours in your area usually range from 227 to 378. And then you can select down here, as you're building your account. I would recommend doing this when you're brand new to Airbnb. But as you're setting up your account, if you want to get booked faster and just get the ball rolling, right, which is what you want to do, you can offer 20% off to your first 3 guests to help your place stand out. So this is going to boost you up in the algorithm. It's going to tell your guests that you're giving a discount, and it's going to help your place get booked a lot faster. And then, of course, after those 3 guests, once you've got the ball rolling, you can take off this discount. This is only applying for the first 3 reservations. So we'll hit next. Okay. One last step. It's going to ask you if your place has security, cameras, weapons, or dangerous animals. So let's say our property doesn't have any of these. Then we'll hit next. Review your listing. So here we get to actually see what we put in. We get to see what we're charging. Remember, we selected that 20% discount. And then looks like all we have to do is set up our cameras, or set up our calendar, I mean. Okay, and there it is. It says, congratulations, your property is basically listed. And then this video actually is pretty cool. So I would recommend, once you go through this process, watch that video. It's the, I was going to say the owner, but it's the CEO basically kind of welcoming you to Airbnb. And he has some really good tips that he would offer as well, as far as kind of building this journey for you and what you can do to maximize your profits. So you can hit let's get started on the bottom, and that will kind of walk you through a little bit more of that journey. This takes you directly over to the hosting platform. So it looks like I do need a couple more details required to publish. Now, again, that was a fake property, so I didn't actually think it would let me publish it. And yeah, it looks like it's flagging it just because I didn't put hardly any details in it, and I used a fake address. So when you put yours in, just make sure you go through the whole thing. But that's exactly step by step of how you set up your Airbnb account through the hosting platform. Again, if you're going directly to the hosting platform and not the guest side, you can use the link in my bio. That will take you to the hosting website. And that's where you get to set up everything. Now, I will be making other videos that go more in detail about the descriptions, the pictures that you want to take. We can go more into the title as well, and a couple other things that really will dive deep. But I wanted to keep this video pretty short and sweet and concise for you because I know a lot of you just are getting started in the Airbnb space. I don't want to overwhelm you too much. But again, really simple. Airbnb just walks you through the whole process. So that's how you set up your property. Hope you enjoyed this video. And please like and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content and figure out how to become profitable on Airbnb in 2023.